I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it. And we're going to have a special prosecutor. When I speak, I go out and speak. The people of this country are furious. In my opinion, the people that have been long-term workers at the FBI are furious. There has never been anything like this, where emails and you get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails. And then you acid wash them, or bleach them, as you would say, a very expensive process. So we're going to get a special prosecutor, and we're going to look into it, because you know what? People have been, their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done. And it's a disgrace. And honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
You know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Donald Trump is seemingly already going back on one of his campaign promises. You'll remember he promised to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton for using a private email server that happened during one of the debates. Well, listen to what he said at one of these thank you rallies just last night.
That plays great before the election. Nah, we don't care, right? The only reason she's behaving like this, and the only reason she's been dragged so far left, believe me, is she doesn't want to go to jail over the emails, okay? Believe me, that's the only reason. One simple reason. Because you know what, folks? I used to say, leave it up to the lawyers. I have watched so many lawyers on so many different networks. I have read so much about the emails. Folks, honestly, she's guilty as hell. I will say this. Hillary Clinton has to go to jail, okay? She has to go to jail. Has to go. That was a phony hit job. She's guilty as hell.
Michelle and Bill and Hillary, and they were going to Michigan. No, it's okay. No, forget it. That plays great before the election. No, we don't care, right? But I said, let's go to Michigan. Hillary Clinton talks about it all the time. She has done a horrible job. And then you add all of the scandal and the lies and the deception to the emails. She should be in jail. Hillary Clinton should be in jail. You know it. The FBI director knows it. Everybody else knows it. She should be in jail. What she did with erasing 33,000 emails, she shouldn't be out even talking about inner cities or running for president.
I think Hillary is very weak. I think she's pathetic. I think she should be in jail for what she did with her emails, okay? She should be in jail. This just came out. This just came out. WikiLeaks. I love WikiLeaks. And I said, write a couple of them down. Let's see. During a speech, crooked Hillary Clinton. Oh, she's crooked, folks. She's crooked as a $3 bill. Okay, here's one. Just came out. Lock her up is right. No.
It was like all of a sudden, with President Obama and Michelle and Bill and Hillary, and they were going to Michigan. No, it's okay. No, forget it. That plays great before the election. No, we don't care, right?
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail. Because you'd be in jail. I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it. And we're going to have a special prosecutor. When I speak, I go out and speak. The people of this country are furious. In my opinion, the people that have been long-term workers at the FBI are furious.
The source, Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway talking to us about this. Okay, so you heard what Jim said there. It's just, I guess, more straightforward language that we're hearing from Donald Trump today, where he says she has to go to jail. And you have talked about how he is really talking about the process, a special prosecutor, that she should sort of go through the, the process of, I guess, being checked out in a way that your campaign feels that she hasn't been. But he's not talking about the process there. He's saying she has to go to jail.
So, Brianna, I was on an NBC show quoting the NBC.com story, calling it a quip. I just thought that was a clever way of addressing it. But what Donald Trump is doing is he's representing many, many voices across this country who feel incredibly frustrated that, yet again, there's a different set of rules for somebody named Hillary Clinton than the rest of us. People who have done far less than she's done, imperiling our national security by futzing around with a private server she wasn't allowed to have in the first place, destroying different devices, up to a dozen of them with a hammer, not knowing that the C means confidential when everybody knows that, even those of us who have not been secretaries of state, first ladies of the country, or United States senators. And, FBI Comey left a lot out there. FBI Director Comey left a lot out there. He made sure he called her conduct careless and reckless. And let's be honest, this is an active investigation. In the last 2 weeks, there have been reports that 5 people involved with this aspect of Hillary Clinton's mendacity have gone and taken the Fifth Amendment. I mean, the last time I wasn't trying to hide something, I wasn't taking the Fifth Amendment, a right to not incriminate myself in front of Congress. So this is an active investigation. Lots of Americans very, very frustrated.
Sure, and I know that they're saying that. We hear them saying that, but this is a presidential candidate saying that. And not only that, it's a presidential candidate who's claiming that he has the better temperament, and yet polls show voters are very convinced he does not. Why is he talking like this if he needs to prove to them that he has a good temperament to be president?
Well, voters in your CNN poll and elsewhere also just can't get over the fact that Hillary Clinton cannot be trusted. So he's calling that out.
Sure, they can't, Kellyanne, but he's the one losing in the polls right now.
Right, and when he was winning in the polls, nobody wanted to cover the polling stories. But that aside, if she's got a problem with veracity and trustworthiness, and he's calling that out and using any number of examples to illustrate the nagging concerns people have about this woman. I mean, with all of her advantages, Brianna, I'll quote her, "Why aren't I 50 points ahead?" Great question. As she says, why isn't she even at 50% in some of these swing states? She has every advantage. She's outspending us 7-to-1, 10-to-1 in negative paid advertising.
He's talking about going around the democratic process. I mean, talking about jailing your political opponent is something that you...
No, he's not. He's talking about the result. No, he's not. You're just taking it literally, and you're just stuck on this one thing when, again, I know I'm on CNN often. I love CNN. I'm just completely mystified. Why? And it's your show. You can talk about what you want, but Americans want to talk about other things. Look at your own polling.
In a court of law, the end result is not determined before a trial. So if you're talking about investigating,
I said that publicly.
I'm talking about what your candidate is saying, which is more important than what you were saying about this. He is saying she has to go to jail. He's not talking about she has to stand and be judged. He's saying she has to go to jail.
And, in other words, what are you saying? You're saying that he had to stop and say, and here's how you get to jail. Here's the process. That's completely ridiculous.
Well, it shouldn't be. I mean, he's talking about a predetermined end result here.
No, he's talking about what a lot of Americans want to know, why the heck this woman wasn't punished at all, and why news outlets like this one think that's okay. Why is a man who took pictures of it inside of a submarine and posted them now facing jail time?
He's saying if he were president, she would be in jail.
You could just keep interrupting me. I'm trying to explain to you, Brianna, that
but
he
I'm
is
talking to you
channeling
about
the frustrations of millions of Americans. And what the heck has she said about him? Do you want to go through the litany of isms that she accuses him of every single day, as if that's the uplifting, aspirational, optimistic campaign that she has promised and that a lot of Americans would love to hear? Her entire campaign is about Donald Trump. When is the last time you heard her say anything plausible, credible, aspirational, uplifting, and frankly, logical about the issues that voters tell CNN they want to hear about? What is her position on Obamacare? Does she think that she would extend pieces of it? She really flubbed that answer the other night. Her husband told us in a moment of unguarded truth that it's a disaster, especially for small business owners. It's, quote, the craziest thing he's ever seen. We agree with the Trump campaign. Obamacare is a huge... We just don't know what Hillary Clinton would do with it unless we read her website or her book, because nobody asks her. She can just go out there trashing this guy every single day and never have to talk about a single issue.
It seems like your candidate also seems to have an aversion for talking about some of the issues and is definitely tailoring some of his more...
He talked about it today.
He's talking
Your
about...
own Jason Carroll told you that.
I'm saying he's talking...
Your own Jason Carroll told you that.
Many of the things he says designed to capture people's attention don't have to do with the issues. But I do want to ask you about something that our sources have told us. They say you had a phone call today with Donald Trump supporters in the House who are urging you to stop him or to have him stop attacking House Speaker Paul Ryan and having this schism in the party. He did attack Paul Ryan earlier today. Who's the target here? Should it be Paul Ryan or should it be Hillary Clinton?
So that's a call I have regularly, and we had a great call, actually. I think Donald Trump is at his best when he is talking about the issues, because we own the issue set. We're very much on the side of most Americans on those issues, which is why Hillary Clinton doesn't talk about them. And when he attacks Hillary Clinton's record, I mean, there's so much there you can't even unpack it all in one campaign. She's got a terrible record as Secretary of State. She owns Libya. She owns Benghazi. She should own the Syria, the fake red lines, and what's happening there, which is a complete humanitarian crisis and incredibly sad to all of us, regardless of party affiliation. She owns the Russia reset, where she did that goofy thing walking over and handing somebody some device. I think she owns a lot of what's wrong with the 94 million people out of the workforce right
and
now.
you talk about her having a record. I mean, if Donald Trump is elected, he's going to want to have a record. And part of that, isn't it having a Republican Congress to help him achieve that? Why is he attacking the Republican Speaker? Doesn't he want a Republican Congress?
Yes, he does. And yes, he does. And he's doing a lot to help there be one, Brianna, by doing these fundraisers like yesterday.
By attacking the Speaker of the House?
Millions and millions of dollars, and that money goes to the RNC and to the committees.
How is attacking the Speaker of the House helpful to him?
You keep saying that. You keep saying he's attacking the Speaker of the House. He said a couple of things, and it's over.
I mean,
in other
come
words,
on, Kellyanne. He tweeted repeatedly.
No,
he called him weak and
ineffective. You didn't listen to Jim Acosta.
Okay, well, so, I mean, you want to give him credit for not attacking him at one rally.
I just heard Jim Acosta say in this last appearance, Donald Trump didn't mention him.
So you're saying,
at all,
and he's not going to. Then is
continue.
So is that done? Is he done attacking the House Speaker then?
What he's doing is what he's always done, which is he gives these long.
You just said he's doing something different. You're saying he's doing something different by not attacking the Speaker.
I can't hear you because you're talking when I am. I'm sorry.
I said, you said he's doing what he always does, and I said, but you just said that what Jim Acosta reported, which was that he did not attack Paul Ryan at the second of two events today. To be clear, he did attack Paul Ryan at the earlier event. So what I'm asking you then is that something that we should expect more of? Has he finished with all of the tweets and the comments about Paul Ryan? Is he now turning off the spigot on that?
The spigot? Do you know what the theme of the first speech even was? Has CNN even covered it? Because it had a theme. I bet you don't, because CNN doesn't cover it. Did he attack somebody? Did he tweet? You're doing a disservice to the American people by not telling them exactly everything, fully and fairly, of what one of the presidential candidates, actually the only one who goes out and talks to voters on a daily basis about issues.
You're not
even telling them what